To all my gear enthusiasts and engineers, dun, 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 get ready to see the most insane amplifier. This is what I used for my guitar sound on my new album, and it's just get ready to have your mind blown. You ready? For the Champ 15 Squire amplifier. Okay, no, never mind. So yes, I am Chris, and I just made a new album, and I do want to show you the sound that I got, and that is actually the guitar I use. Actually, you know what? I'll hold on one second. I want to talk a little bit about my guitar sound on the new album. A couple different things, but first I'll start with the amplifiers that I used. So I have an Ultimate Chorus right here, which I've used for most of my albums. And by the way, this actually is real. This is a real video. I'm not. This isn't satire. If you follow me on my YouTube channel, I do have some satire videos that are. If you don't know me that well, it may be hard to separate. What's the line that cuts to serious to satire. If it's not on the ridiculousness playlist, then it's real. So I just wanted to mention that. So, okay, I got the Ultimate Chorus here. I've used this for most of my albums. But at some point during the album, I talked about this in the other vlogs. I wanted something that had a very raw sound, a very classic sound, and something that was just kind of had a dirty sound, So the SG and the Telly were I think, perfect guitars for that sort of thing. A little different, but they both work. So I have this Squire I don't even know what that is. Is that an 8-inch speaker? It's very, very small. It's a practice amp for the most part. So I've used this for most of my albums, and one of the reasons why I started gravitating towards this little amp is because I started taking this amp to another room where I was writing the songs and just strumming away, writing the riffs and the songs, and I started noticing that when I bring over the riffs and the songs to the jam room, and I would play on this amp, I'd be like, all right, let's hear it with a real amp, right? I would always be a little like I felt better, and I felt the songs sounded better when I was playing the riffs on the little amp. Like, well, why is that? I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's just the Telly or the FG, but sure enough, it was both guitars. I just liked the tone better on the little amp. So I looked it up on YouTube. It is a thing. I mean, some people like the sound that just comes out of the small amp, And I think I can run an experiment here. Just a very... this is very simple stuff, I know. But you'll be able to see, just through the speaker on my phone, why I use this amp for this album. I'm pretty sure you'll hear it. Okay, so I'm gonna play a riff for the song Leather Jacket. So. Hopefully the setting is okay. Okay, same riff. Might have to raise it a little bit. Okay. And I must have recorded around there, I think. Settings are different from each other, but one of the things you'll notice is this just cuts through, because it's really small at a lower volume. It just cuts through. It's got more of that tweeter sound, and for the album and the sound I'm going for, it just made a lot more sense. It really did. Now I use this amp too. I used it along the way, and it's a good segue to start talking about the guitars. But yeah, for the most part, the way I would do it is, if it was just rhythms and I was gonna dub a few different guitars doing the same part, well then I would use this. I would use the Ultimate Chorus. If it was an individual part, like a riff that has a very, say the solos, the riffs that are going to stand above the core of the music, I would use the Squire. And like for the opera, the main riff of the opera, for the riff I just showed you, that's here, and the solos. So yeah, that's what it is. And I enjoy experimenting with those kind of things. You know, like I've had this amp for a while, and I'm just always thinking like, well, what would it sound like? And it ended up coming to me in a very natural way because I was just practicing and writing the songs, and it naturally just happened that I liked the way it sounded better, and it transferred, I think, pretty good. So anyways, the guitars, like I said already, the Tele, the SG, I kind of mixed them up both. So what happened is about halfway through the album, I had already tracked the SG and the Tele, and different like every single song has it a little bit different. I did that on purpose because it all kind of goes together in making that raw, kind of dirty sound. So once the guitars were on, I used the Hofner for the bass all the way through. I started noticing like, well, you know, it sounds like rock. It's close, you know, but there's something missing. It's one of the reasons why, if you follow me on Instagram, about at a certain point halfway through the album, or a little more than that, I canceled the album. I canceled it, and then I ended up sleeping a couple days on it, and I started working on it again, you know. And one of the reasons why that was is I started getting really turned off with the guitar sound. The electric guitar sound, which is what I just showed you. So I started experimenting like with the mixing. Like, well, what is it that I didn't like? Like what's not working? And it just sounded too empty, too like not layered enough. But I didn't want to layer more fuzz, you know, more electric guitars. So I tried this guitar over here. This is a cheap Lucero. It's a really good Lucero nylon guitar that I bought this on eBay, and I wanted a black guitar, nylon, just very, you know, simple, and found it, bought it, and I absolutely love this guitar. I got a little pickup on it. I used it on the song Lighthouse, which last year. Anyway, so I was trying to get it involved with as much as I could, and so this was a good opportunity to see what it sounds like with the rhythms underneath the electric parts. You know, not necessarily doing anything different, just something that goes along, like say the riff on Blue Well. So it's there underneath the electric guitars, and so I did it, and I was like, oh man, like it actually sounds pretty good. This is actually working. This is giving it a dirtier, grittier sound. It's making the electric guitar sound better, if that makes any sense. So like, well, now I got to do this for all the songs. So I had to, all 7 songs, I had to go in there and throw this in. And the fun part about it actually was that it didn't have to be perfect, because that's the best part of this album, is that I wanted something very loose. So like, all right, it's cool. I don't have to try too hard. And it's actually for the sound of the album. So that actually made it a little quick, but fun. Then it wasn't over there. What happened was I was like, I'm looking at my guitars, you know, and I hadn't played this one in a while. This Fender acoustic guitar. So this one, obviously not being a nylon, being a steel, a little harsher sound, a little harder sound. That's got a little softer tone. What does it sound if I combine this guitar with the nylon? And I tried it, and I was like, I like it. It sounds dirtier. You know, it sounds grittier. So I had to do it all again with this guitar as well. So what you're hearing on the album is the Tele and the SG in different combinations. Sometimes it's these two panned left and right. Sometimes it's the Tele panned left and right. And then the third guitar that has a lot more oomph on it, like a solo or like a big part of the song, will come in with the other guitar, whichever one it was. Invisible Summer, the song with the music video, is all Tele, the solo is SG. So that's kind of how I did it. In some songs it's reversed. And you're hearing this acoustic and then the nylon acoustic layered very, very low. It's very low. You can hear them, but I wanted it to be low enough to where it's not. I wanted a rock album, so I wasn't too into the idea of throwing acoustics. I don't know, mentally, but if you put them just low enough, and I threw some gain on a plug-in on Pro Tools on all of them, so the acoustic guitar is not clean. I made them a little dirty, you know, and low enough to where you can't really tell they're there, but it just gives it a texture, like an Instagram filter on a photo, you know, something like that. So that's it, pretty much. That's how I recorded the guitars, and you know, I don't have the craziest studio here, and I'm always making video blogs about how to make the most of what you have. I made a complete album that I'm super proud of here in my home studio with the limited amount of gear. But I mean, I got two guitars that are in good shape, and they're good guitars, and you know, I use the amps how I wanted to use them, and you can use pretty much anything, you know. Just, I mean, somewhat they do work, you know, and they are well working amps, so I mean, there is that. But that's how it was, and I'm very happy with it. Check it out now. Go to the Chris Guy Music playlist so you can hear all the songs. Until next time, rock on.